Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make these videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. If you would like to learn any more about the patterns that I have available that you might want to knit, please check in the description below, and there you will find a link to my Ravelry page. And I'm sorry guys, I'm so distracted. So someone commented recently that their daughter can actually recite my little opening spiel, and so now I was trying to do it, and I was like thinking about, am I doing it right or whatever. So you can go to my Ravelry page and you can see pictures of all the patterns I have available, and if you'd like to, you can purchase one, and I'd love to hear about it if you decide to knit one of my patterns. I have a Facebook group you can check in the description below, and it's for Watch Barbara Knit, where we can continue the conversation we're having here. And I'd love to see pictures if you're working on anything or if you have any questions. I really want this to be a dialogue. And speaking of dialogue, this video is working on some feedback that I received on my list, because today it's the second Thursday, so that means it's a Fave 5 video. It's my favorite 5 patterns based on a theme I've selected. And in the last one, I tried to evenly divide things between my different types of things. I tried to have socks and things like that. And I said, you know, if I had my druthers, it'd probably just be all shawls. And several people were like, yes, all shawls. So I'm not going to make every Fave 5 all shawls. But today, since you guys seem to be a-okay with it, it is an all shawl favorite 5. Now, my theme for today, and you probably know it already because it would have been in the title, is Favorite 5 Elegant Edgings. So, and today I do not have one of my patterns in to show you, so it's just going to be 5 patterns I'm highlighting because this style of edgings is not something I've played with yet, but hopefully this will inspire myself to do so. And what I looked at was edgings that really extend from the shawl and are fun and bring something really exciting. And I tried really hard to pick a variety, because so often things like picots seem to be very foofy, and foofy is good, but it can also have different effects. And so I tried to pick out patterns that had different effects. Case in point, the first one is, and again, I think people specifically name these just to mess me up, but it's F-U-R-I-N-G-I, Furingi, which I think kind of sounds like fringy, which is awesome, by Angela Tong. And I looked up, and this shawl, it's triangular shape, but it's one that's worked sort of side to side, and it starts at one point and then gets bigger and bigger and bigger to a bind off. And so you are actually, and I thought this was really creative, because as you can see, you've got this fringe on one edge, and then you have the fringe on the bind off edge also. So what that means is you're working it integrated into the stripe, the rows that you're working, but then also she came up with a technique for them being on the bind off, and they still match, which I think is really cool. And I like this fringe because it's very controlled. And I believe, I'm looking at the thing, she said it's a picot technique, but these are like super picots. I think it looks super cool. This is a part of the Miss Babs, let me double check over here. It is their Spring 2017 collection, so you might want to go check it all out. I love Miss Babs yarn, and this I think would work really good. This was knit in Kiera. I'm not familiar with that yarn. It looks absolutely beautiful. And I think this pattern also, it's got a lot of garter in it, and then you can see on the edge some like lace, and then the picots. I think the picots, these fringes, really the big part, the big draw for me for this shawl. So super cool. I also think it would look great with variegated yarn, harkening back to last month's video. Next, we have Cumberland. and I'm going to click over here. You know, I've told you guys before, I have 2 monitors and I got to make sure I'm talking about what I mean to talk about. This is Cumberland by Tabitha Hedrick, and this one's a crescent-shaped shawl. Starts at the top, top down, and it works through this lovely and relatively simple lace pattern, and obviously it's designed to work with gradient, which I love this. And you know what, who knows how much of this was the color drawing me in, but this is it says it's the cobblestone gradient from SweetGeorgia. And I think that the match of the simple lace pattern that has some texture in it with the gradient allows the gradient to sing, but I look at that edging on it. It is so beautiful and delicate. And I think it balances the lace beautifully. You definitely need to check in the description below and click through to see the detail photographs on the Ravelry page, because it just, I love those little loopy guys, and that's obviously part of the bind off. And I think it gives this whole shawl, if that bind off wasn't there, if that laciness wasn't there, I think the whole shawl would be heavier. And especially in this darker color, it would be a little heavy, but just that trim just brings it whole. So I definitely think it's an elegant edging. Next, going in a completely different direction, which I think is awesome. This is Radiant Aura by Xandy Peters. Now, Xandy has developed this super cool technique that I haven't quite wrapped my brain around yet, but she calls it stacked decreases. And you just have to look at this. It makes these really, really cool effect where you get the bumpies. I don't know what to actually call them. And this is, again, I believe a top-down crescent. And it's striped yarn. So it's like a long color changing striped yarn. So it looks like you're doing like something super complex, but I think it's just the same stitch over and over and over again, but it gives this amazing effect because of her stacked decreases. And I will put a link in the description below to I know she has a blog post on the stacked decrease technique. I've watched the video a couple times and I haven't quite gotten my brain around it, but I will eventually. But then at the end, she leaves, instead of trying to flatten off the edge, she left these beautiful like tooth effects on the edge. And I think it gives the shawl this feeling that it kind of interfaces with the environment. It just keeps on going. It flows. And I think this is beautiful. And this is one of the examples that it's not a frilly fringe. It's an elegant edging, but it's not lacy. It's got this really graphic potential, and I think it's super cool. Next, we have Brunswick by Mindy Wilkes, and as I said, I am a-okay with foofy, and I think this kind of falls into the foofy category, but it's beautiful and delicate and elegant and very feminine. And I just think Mindy did a beautiful job with this one. And what really, really intrigued me about this is she again is using picots. And if you can see how drastically different these picots are from the picots that the elongated picots Angela used in her shawl for Ringy. This one, they're very delicate, and she has in the middle of the shawl a picot hem. So I'm guessing, I haven't looked at how the pattern's written, but I'm guessing she does like a picot and then pulls it up and like does a tuck stitch or folds it so you get that little flap coming over that you can see over there in the pattern. Maybe it's over there. I'm not real sure which side I'm pointing at. But I think that's a really innovative thing to have that ridge in the actual, and this is a top-down triangle. So you're coming down and then you make this edge and then you continue in the beautiful lace pattern and then you make another edge. And I just think it's really cool. And obviously at the end, you've got those delicate little picots and it just pulls the whole shawl together. So if you're looking for something lacy and delicate, how many times have I used the word delicate here? I think this would be a beautiful wedding shawl or just everyday shawl. You know, you can wrap it around your neck. What weight yarn is this in? Lace weight. So there you go. That is why the delicate keeps on popping onto me. And this is in Anzula yarn. So absolutely gorgeous. Again, I encourage you to click through to the Ravelry page to look at the defit tail photographs, because you can really see that all the intricate work, and it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, and then finally this one, I love it. It is simple and it just looks so comfortable. This is the Short Beach Shawl by Kirsten Kapoor, and it is in the book that she wrote with, let me double check, who else? There are 3 authors of this book. It is Gale, Zucker, Mary Lou Eggen, and Kirsten Kapoor. And it's called Drop Dead Easy Knits. So all the things in this book are like super duper easy to knit. And I actually listened to a podcast interviewing them. And I believe that the concept behind it came to them when they maybe were drinking a little bit of wine. And it was like, we need things to knit while we're drinking wine that we won't mess up. So that's, I might have misunderstood the interview, but I encourage you to look out for it and check it out. This one, again, it's a triangle, but it's constructed from the bottom up, which is incredibly easy, and that gives you the vertical. You can tell that. The one that we just looked at by Mindy is a top down, so you get that spine in the middle, and it shapes like this. But since this is bottom up, you've got your rows running straight across, which allowed Kirsten to have the lace going in horizontal bands, which I think looks really nice. But the fringe on this is just so enveloping, and I love the way it hangs. And I can tell you, fringe can be done beautifully, and this is an example of it. And sometimes fringe does not really float my boat. It's just, I haven't figured out fringe. I tried to put fringe on a piece in my book, and I put it on and I hated it. So I took it back off, and I thought the pattern was just like, nope, 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 nope. I don't want any fringe. So I do need to figure out fringe, and maybe I can talk to Kirsten about it, because she obviously has it down with this beautiful piece. I don't know where Short Beach is, but it looks like a fun place. And let me see, this is in Dragonfly Fibers Dance Rustic Silk. So it's silk, it's got beautiful drape and that beautiful fringe, and I think it is just an elegant edging. So there we go. There are 5 shawls with absolutely elegant edging that runs the entire gamut, from bold, graphic, teeth in the Radiant Aura by Xandy, to this delicate lace, to different types of approaches to picots by Angela Tong and Mindy Wilkes, and then those beautiful little lace scallops from Tabitha Hedrick. I can't wait to try to incorporate some of these ideas or use them as a jumping point for me to come up with something new. So that was my favorite 5 for this month. If you have any ideas, and as you said, you guys were good with favorite 5 shawls, so here you go, 5 shawls. I can do more 5 shawls. I won't do all shawls all the time unless you really want me to. Please feel free to comment in the comments below if you have anything that you would like me to take a look at. Definitely make sure to check in the description notes for links to all of these patterns and all of these wonderful designers' other work, because they all have beautiful, beautiful stuff. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up, click that like button, and if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.